Hey, Pooch, how's it going, man?
Hey, I'm going. I
Well,
think I am. I think I am.
you
I
think
think
it,
I can. I think I am.
in our last conversation, we were talking about things that aren't in the contract, and we got through all the trust stuff that we wanted to talk about. Um, Now, there's something else about this person that you're signing up with to help you out as a manager or a record company or whatever. Um, are they going to actually be able to do anything for you? And do they even care? And let's talk about some of the motivations behind that. How would we know? What would we do? We can't really write that into a contract, but yeah, how will we gain some assurance that somebody's actually going to do something, can do something?
All right. Let's see. Let's start with the question is can they, and the other question is will they. So let's
Two
start
parts.
with the can they first. Okay. Oh no, you started with the will they. Okay. Will
Doesn't matter.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of these days. Will they? The point is that there are managers, there are record companies, there are publishers that will sign people with no intention of doing anything. They just want to be able to knock on your door if you have to make it on your own.
Well, so let's talk about that. Do you mean that they can come back and get money from you just because they signed you and then never did anything?
Well, they can if you signed the contract. It doesn't mean you can't fight it and win because they might have broken the contract in different ways, and we will get to the escape clause. That's one reason why you definitely have an escape clause. If they don't do certain things and have a list of things that they're going to do, you have some sort in the contract, and if they don't pass these things, but we'll get into the escape clause and I believe the next one. But
So there actually is a bit of a motivation for people to go up and sign up a bunch of acts in hopes that one of them will strike it big and they
it's
can,
happened plenty of times.
yeah,
It's happened plenty of times. Now, of course, is there also a thing of maybe they really want to do something but can't. In
yeah.
other words, they don't have the knowledge, the contacts. There's two things about this. One, you should check them out, of course. I think we went through that. But can they, that's why it's good for the artist to really have some knowledge themselves of the music industry, to at least be able to ask them questions to see if they know what they're talking about. I've been hired by different people to grill people to see if they know what they were talking about. I got a quick funny story.
Okay, great.
I was hired this one time to check out this guy, and we're talking, and he's bragging and dropping names all over the place. One of those, I always
Yeah,
say, beware of name droppers. And he was talking about this pretty well-known producer who I happen to know, and he says, oh, I really know this guy. So I asked him, hey, how's his son doing? He says, oh, his son's doing fine. I said, he doesn't have a son. True story. True story. He was just well, I meant, he had two daughters. I mean, you hear things like that. But can't, it's super important. That's why you check them out really carefully. That's why you learn some of the music industry yourself. And here's a major part to think about. And that is nowadays, especially nowadays, in the last couple of years, since the record labels started laying off all these people, they're expecting the manager to pick up a lot of responsibilities that the labels used to have.
things
You know,
like artist development and that sort of thing.
there is no such animal as artist development in most major labels anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, artist development, branding, other things. And let's face it, you're expecting the manager to make sure the record company's doing what they're supposed to be doing, just like they're supposed to be checking on the publicist. The manager has to coordinate all this stuff. And if they don't know the music industry, how can they even check? One quick other thing I'll bring up for a second also. Nowadays, more and more and more, because I get all these contracts, where the person wants to be your manager, wants to be your record company, wants to be your publisher, and all these things, and we can get into a whole thing on that sometime and the problems inherent with that. I mean, they better really know what they're doing, you know. Now, I guide a lot of managers, and the manager is not going to know everything. They're not expected to, but they should at least know how to, or have the right people to help them out on different things. It's like I don't know real heavy tech stuff, okay, or computer stuff, and I have people help me on that. You know, things like that. There's no perfect manager. There's, you know, some might be too laid back for you. Some might be too high speed for you. But, you know, that's a personality type. My thing is, as long as they do their job and do it well, that's what counts.
Yeah. Well, that, and, you know, make sure you keep in perspective that you're hiring them as much as they're hiring you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Did you have something else to add?
No, because that's getting into a whole other. I think of way too many subjects. You know how my mind flies. But,
well, I'll tell you what. Knowing that, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back and let's talk about the escape clause next. How's that?
Yes, good idea.
All right. Thanks, Pooch. We'll talk to you soon.